Well, hello there, Julia.
Hello.
Yeah, nice to meet you on the Red Couch Talk.
Thanks, Angie. I don't have a red couch. I have a pink leopard behind me. So I
That
brought
looks
that.
also amazing. What's the story of the pink leopard in the background?
I love pink. That's quite obvious if you see my house, my office, the carpet behind me. And yeah, it's good for the acoustics to have a carpet on the wall. And this is why I got the pink leopard. Yeah.
We already have something in common. I also like pink, especially in clothes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And probably the reason also why, you caught my eye in January where you were when you were presenting. It was just the pink layout and the slogan you have, the slogan you have for your podcast and your blog, Tax and the City. So it
Yes.
was hilarious, a hilarious idea. And yeah, we got introduced through a common friend, and now you're here on our Red Couch
Yes.
Talk. So tell us a fun fact about yourself, other than the fact that you love pink.
I also love orange, but I don't know if that's funny enough. Um, like one of the most fun and the most terrible things that is currently happening in my life is that together with my partner, I'm turning an old barn into four apartments.
Oh, wow. Uh-huh.
So currently I own lots of bricks and wood. It's not livable yet, and there's a lot of drama involved with this whole building process. But I'm always like envisioning how beautiful it's going to be once it's done. So whenever I almost lose my mind, I will envision myself sitting in the garden there, looking at the house, having a tea, and being like, "Yes, we finally made it." So yeah,
It
that's
sounds
what I'm doing. If I'm not doing taxes, I'm into bricks and wood and everything in between.
it sounds like a big project.
It is.
So what is your big why? I mean, tax is not my dream of a job, but maybe, it was yours always. How did you get into the whole thing?
No, it actually was the opposite. I studied sociology and economics.
Hmm.
And then when you end up your studies, you can basically do nothing and everything. So I did what most of my female co-students did something with marketing and market research, and worked for big companies, had big teams, big budgets, and then my then partner and me, we decided to stop working for a while and travel Australia and the Southern Pacific Islands for 9 months. And during this trip, he was a tax advisor.
Hmm.
He was like, "Why don't you join me when we're back?" And I was like, "No, that's not happening. It's possibly the most boring field on earth. I'm not going to do it." But he had like 9 months to talk me into it, and the fact that I quit my job before we left helped because I was like, "Okay, I've got nothing to lose anyway." So if I don't like it, I just go back to marketing. And then yeah, I read a kilometer of books and asked him 2 million questions. And then one day I started, yeah, I joined him. And it turned out that still, like the topic of taxes doesn't keep me up at night because of excitement. But it comes easy to me. So apparently, my brain has a structure that is um, easily working together with the field of taxes. But what I actually love about my job is I'm not doing company taxes. This is something I can't imagine ever doing. This to me sounds like really boring, but I do individual taxes. So for people like you, like me, like everyone has to file a tax return. And I'm specializing in international clients. So I meet people from all over the world. So
Mhm.
I meet the Chinese AI specialist working at Google. I meet a pilot flying for Swiss. I have clients that are in banking, clients that are scientists and working for biotech companies or commodity traders. I don't know. I also have yoga teachers and graphic designers. I meet so many different people. I love people,
Mhm.
and I love being helpful for them. And I know that taxes are a pain topic for, I would say, 99% of the population. And it's great that I can support them with this. And on the other hand, I profit from them as well because yes, they come from all over the world, from all industries. And whenever I feel like, okay, now I met every like species that is out there, someone enters like my office and is being completely different to anyone I ever met.
Mhm.
I remember once having a meeting with a client that I haven't met before, and it was a rainy day, and he came to the office and he took off his shoes and he had this hand knitted socks. And I was like, what are you doing? Yeah, my shoes are wet. I'm taking them off. I was like, it's not necessary. This is an office. No, no, I just want to be polite. And he couldn't look me in the eyes. He was dressed like, I don't know, in a grain raincoat and something. And then he started talking, telling me about a renovation of a house that he wanted to do. And he wanted to know if it's worth splitting the deductions over several years. And I was like, I couldn't bring the figures that he was talking about, like the hundreds of thousands that he's putting towards this property, and this guy in this hand knitted socks. And then he showed me his salary certificate, and it was the largest salary I personally have ever seen. He was he was some tech super specialist nerd, like kind of autistic in his way, but such an interesting person. And I would never have met this person in my entire life. And I loved it because it was just
Interesting.
interesting. Yeah.
He would be my ideal client.
Yes, he would be the ideal client to a lot of people.
So tell me a bit more about the kind of, so you said individual tax, you're a Swiss tax
Yes.
advisor. Do you also do
Yes.
cross-border taxation? Like, do you work with people, who like have a tax return to do in Germany and in Switzerland, or are you just
Yes.
focusing on Swiss tax?
No, I personally, I am taking care of the Swiss tax return, but
Mhm.
I do work together a lot, especially with US tax advisors,
Oh,
because
yeah.
those poor US people, they have to file a US tax return even if they live on the moon.
Hmm. Or
And
Mars?
or Mars, like basically wherever, or on an oil rig somewhere in the Northern Sea. So you have to file. Uncle Sam is not letting go of you. Um, and I also work together with colleagues in other countries. Yes, there's
Mhm.
someone in Spain I regularly talk to, in Germany, the Netherlands, basically wherever my clients come from. If someone has to file a tax return in their origin country or in the country where they lived before, it is due to properties. And then it's most of the time it's a manageable task to do it over several countries. And yes, I'm advising on the Swiss side and together with my international colleagues, then figuring out an ideal scenario for the client. Yes.
Julia, can you talk a bit about your journey? I mean, I think you also moved here from Germany. You just also mentioned a trip around the Southern Pacific.
Yes.
What was your journey like? Why, when leaving the corporate world, what did you do before? What brought you to where you are today? Were there
Yes. So,
maybe also an inner development that led to the stage?
okay. How long do we have?
We still have a bit of time.
No. So originally I'm from Germany. But I came to Switzerland more than 26 years ago.
Mhm.
So I spent more time in Switzerland now than in
Mhm.
Germany.
Mhm.
Um, and fun fact, I actually lost my voting rights in Germany because if you don't live there for 25 years, you're
Mhm.
not allowed to vote any longer. I found that out last year.
Mhm.
Um, I became Swiss, I don't know, 15 years ago, something like that. So it's okay, I may vote here.
Mhm.
I came here to finish university. I studied in Munich before and then in Basel, and then kind of like never left. It was not the plan to stay in Switzerland forever. It was the plan to finish university and then figure things out. And then, yeah, I just never left again. Lived in Basel, lived in Zurich. Now I'm living outside of Zurich, but still have the office in Zurich. I think so. From a location perspective, I feel blessed living in one of the most beautiful places on earth that I have seen. Okay, let's not talk about Bora Bora. That is slightly more beautiful, but I don't want to live there.
And it doesn't have an opera house.
So no, yeah, and it's really tiny. So it's lovely for a week, but then so, I mean, living by the lake of Zurich, you have this beautiful city, you have the mountains, you have the lake. So, this is from a location perspective, I can't, or it's hard for me to envision something that is better than this. I feel very safe in Switzerland. I like the political system. So, this is why I'm still here and why I don't intend to leave.
Mhm.
Um,
And
and
it's also quite nice from a tax perspective, right?
It's also quite nice from a tax perspective. I mean, back then, being a student, that didn't matter to me anyway, because
Yeah.
I hardly had any money. I didn't care. But yes, of course. Like, yeah, so today, that is certainly another point that is making Switzerland an attractive option. And then from a professional perspective, as I mentioned before, I studied economics. Because I kind of like didn't really know what to do.
Mhm.
And the idea was, yeah, economics and sociology, you can still figure it out later,
Mhm.
which is quite true. So, I mean, if you study medicine, it's quite clear what you're going to end up doing. But with economics and sociology, uh, it can be anything. Um, and then, yeah, one thing led to another. I when I was still in the corporate world, I worked for big Swiss companies. So for Manor, the department store,
Mhm.
for Ringier and Tamedia, the Swiss media companies,
Mhm.
and accidentally it was all Swiss companies, so they are Swiss owned, they are operating in Switzerland. So even then, I had no chance to kind of like go international. Um, and then yes, I joined the tax consulting company back then. I became a co-owner. We grew this business like massively and significantly and sold the company to a bank a couple of years ago.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
and then had the idea to maybe do something like start a third career, something like entirely different. I back then also discussed on living in Cape Town for a year or two, which didn't happen then in the end. And yeah, after 3 years of non-compete from the share sales contract, I decided to start my very own tax consulting company again, Taxum. Because in the 3 years of thinking about what else do I actually want to do, I actually didn't come up with a better idea than taxes that for a lot of reasons. I mean, I always liked what I did. I missed the contact with all those different people. Um, and yeah, it is something that comes relatively easy to me and that I just like doing. And I see a lot of potential because um, most of my competitors, in my humble opinion, don't do a very good job. So, it's quite easy to beat them in terms of service and client focus and yeah, and just be different than your regular tax advisor that you would expect. Yeah.
So you mainly work with private clients, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
And many of them expats, obviously. Yeah.
Yes.
Uh, do you have any advice for not so much tax related, but generally, if you went back to a younger version of yourself, or think about a younger relative, maybe, do you have any advice for a younger person in terms of career choice or maybe things you would have done differently with your knowledge of today?
I think maybe a different angle to that. When you come to Switzerland as a foreigner, um, I know from personal experience that it is not the easiest thing to get to become friends with actual Swiss people.
Hmm.
Uh, but it is so worth it. So make this effort and try to understand how the Swiss are. Like when you're from Germany and you act like a typical German in Switzerland, that's not going to end up very well for you. So you you need to adjust, and that is potentially true for any country that you move to. Find out how does this country work? How do the people like? What is their ideas? What do they like? What don't they like? What is their character? And don't neglect where you come from. I mean, no one should, but adapt in a way that makes it easier for you to get access to the actual country because it is quite easy in Switzerland. And I see that amongst a lot of clients to stay in this expat community
Hmm.
and to be in touch with people from all over the world. But you have never actually met an actual Swiss person. You have no idea how to say anything in German, God beware, in Swiss German. So you are always in a bubble and you never really arrive here. And it is so worth, I think. And that is something I, I assume is true for any country that you go to. Make sure that you meet some actual locals. Yeah,
Yeah, it helps.
it helps a lot. Yes.
And I
Um,
also think in Switzerland, if you have access to the locals, as you say, you also get access to jobs and housing and
yes,
dentist.
of course, that all comes with that.
Yeah.
Yes. Because if you're always only in this expat group, you
Mm,
will be very limited.
mm,
It's exciting people. I love them. I mean, most of my clients are from that group, but I have little understanding for people living in Switzerland for 15 years, not being able to order a beer in German or French or
mm,
Italian. So depending on where they live. So it's just, yeah, I think they are missing out a lot. So this is something, I mean, coming from Germany, the language wasn't that much of an issue. Um, but still. So this is something definitely. And when it comes to career choices, um, I would advise my younger self to be more bold in my choices and more brave and not
mm,
be afraid. I was I was like really diligent and always on time and overperforming, but not asking a lot.
mhm. Good
So
busy bee.
yeah.
Mm.
Yes, I was the ideal employee, and
Yeah.
now I'm unemployable.
Yeah, I guess once you own a company, it's very hard to go back
Yeah.
into corporate slavery.
Yes.
Mm. And Julia, I mean, we recently bumped into each other at an event, which,
Yes.
was funny because this is like the first time we actually have more than 5 minutes to talk.
Yeah.
So, um, do you go out to network? What do you do to, gain clients, or do you have like a preferred way of networking? Can you talk a bit about that?
Yes, I do attend some networking events. Lots of them are more like female based
Mhm.
ones.
Mhm.
Um, so this is something, it evolved over, like a lot of things happened through LinkedIn.
Mhm.
And me being very pink and bold and a little different there as well helped raise some attention. Um, yes, there is networking events. Then in my business, if I have a happy client, the probability that he will tell his friend, neighbor, colleague about me is quite high,
Mhm.
because they all have the same issues, or everybody has to do something about their taxes, which is the great thing about my field. Um, so this is one important source, is this. Then I do have a podcast. You mentioned it before. I do have the Tax and the City podcast, where we talk Swiss taxes in a fun way.
Uh-huh.
And
It sounds
yes,
like
so
a
this
contradiction to me.
it is not. Yes, it sounds like,
Text
but
and
it's
fun,
not.
one sentence.
So no, actually, I mean, paying your taxes, I won't pretend that this is like a fun event of
Uh-huh.
of making the money transfer. This is not a fun event, but you can play around with it, and you have to do it anyway. So you can, I think it's a choice to either make it like a very heavy, boring, dreading topic that
Mhm.
you carry with you for months, and it's like hanging over you like this rain cloud, and you're like, oh, I have to do it, I have to do it. Or why don't you do it in a positive way and change your approach to it? Because it won't go away. So you can either like be in this loop for I hate it, I hate it, I hate it, or like, okay, I'm gonna tackle it. Julia's gonna guide me through. And there's hardly any client that I don't have a laugh with, because it's life is too short to cry about the fact that you have to do your tax declaration. You have to do it. It won't go away. So stop complaining and do it, yeah, in a positive way. And I'm absolutely convinced, and this is not true only for taxes, but it is true for so many areas of your life. If you this famous love it, change it, or leave it. You can't leave your, I mean, you can leave your tax return, but then the tax office will solve the issue for you and not in your favor. You can't change the fact that you have to file this document by a certain deadline and give some documents. So then why don't you just love it and own it and do it in a positive way? And I'm trying to guide my clients through it so that it is lighter for them, that they have guidelines, they know they can approach me, they can talk to me. I won't approach them with some weird terms that they've never heard of, but I'm going to explain it to them in a language that they understand. And then it's not that hard any longer. So the biggest compliment that me as a tax advisor that I can receive is someone leaving my office saying, okay, this felt better than 1 hour of therapy. So yeah, and then I can say, okay, I can go home for today. Goal reached. One other happy taxpayer. Yeah.
I cannot really imagine how running your tax return and going through a tax return conversation can replace therapy. Cannot really imagine that as a coach.
Because, but I can explain that to you, because if you feel a lot of uncertainty and
Mm,
anxiety about the topic,
mm,
because you don't know, because you have a lack of knowledge. You have this, my colleague told me, my neighbor says, I read somewhere. This is this weird mix in your head and this bad feeling in the back of your head saying, I'm pretty sure it's not right. Something's off, but I'm not sure.
mm,
And you are afraid. You are afraid of, oh, I'm going to receive another letter from the tax office that I don't understand. Or I have a fantastic job. I do receive company compensation in the form of restricted stock units. I have no bloody idea how that works. What does that mean in terms of taxes? And I'm just kind of like paralyzed because it's a lack of information in most cases.
Mm.
And when we can get clarity and security, and if you can offer someone, okay, leave this to me, all I need you to do is get me document X, Y, and Z, and then I will take care of it for you and consider it done. This is such a relief. So this is kind of like the better than therapy part.
Mm.
People feel so relieved if the topic is finally addressed properly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And if it's not like this limbo of I'm going to figure it out somehow, Google Translate will guide me through. No, it won't. Yeah.
I was going to say, I can imagine that you can take the anxiety away
Yes,
when it comes to that topic, and that you're also going to do this with, the right amount of humor and
I
relaxation
do.
so that the topic gets
Yes.
a bit lighter.
Yeah.
So, tell us, Julia, do you have anything exciting coming up in the next few weeks? Where can people meet you? Do you want people to connect with you on LinkedIn? Tell us about your availability.
Yes. Yes. So if you physically want to meet, we regularly attend the Expat Expo
Uh-huh,
exhibitions in Zug and Zurich.
uh-huh,
So the next one from today is the one in Zurich. It's end of November.
uh-huh,
And Zug, I think, is going to happen again in April or May. So there we always have a little booth, very pink. You can't miss us. And there's also a tax seminar about Swiss taxes made simple. Um, then everybody is very welcome to connect on LinkedIn to listen to our podcast, Tax in the City. You
uh-huh.
can basically listen to it on Spotify, Apple, like wherever you listen to podcasts, YouTube. And then everyone is invited to book a free intro call with me directly through the website. You can pick a free slot and then we discuss your situation. And then let's see if I can do some therapy for you and your taxes
I
as
have a
well.
better idea, Julia. You take care of the taxes, and the people who need support, you send them to me.
Okay. So then the therapy part you do. Okay.
Don't do
Uh,
therapy. I'm not a therapist, but if you feel like they need more,
yes. Yeah.
send them to me.
So this is this, and then what we are doing a lot recently is company workshops.
Okay.
So it was, for example, eBay that invited us to have a tax
That's
seminar
a
for
great
their
idea.
employees.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's other companies or associations, like, for example, the Canadian Swiss Chamber of Commerce. They hosted an event.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, so this is something that we want to do more. So
Yeah,
if someone feels like, oh, yes, this is actually something like me and my 50 colleagues, we all have no idea about
yeah,
Swiss
yeah,
taxes,
yeah,
um, then this is something that we could definitely tackle.
yeah. I
Yes.
think that's a great idea because, most companies in Switzerland, they offer local contracts now. So there's no tax support anymore, even in the transfer year, not like in the good old days where there was more support with
Yes,
the
and
local.
often HR is like somewhere, I don't know, the Netherlands, the US, France,
Pune.
God knows,
Yeah,
and they can't really help
yeah,
because
yeah,
they never were in Switzerland in their lives. So yeah, especially for companies like that, it is highly relevant in my opinion.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Actually, Julia, we should talk about you running a masterclass for clients, but let's take that offline.
Okay,
And
let's do that.
yeah, I look forward to meeting you again in the real world out there with your pink booth and your pink clothes.
Yes. Today I figured, okay, there's some pink here, so there's at least some pink.
Yeah.
I brought the leopard.
And yeah, thank you so much for your time. It's been amazing talking to you and great to be
Thank you.
connected.
Thanks for having me. Bye, Angie. Bye bye.
Bye bye.